Says I'm live.
One more time. We're back again, family. We're here with Justin. Justin is a good young brother. He came to one of our men's meetings. I did not know who he was. He was invited. So we want to start off talking about our men's meetings. What did you get out of that men's meeting? What stuck with you and what did you see?
Well, what really stuck with me from out of the man's meeting from when we all gathered, um, it was a surprise for one. I didn't know that what I was walking into, but I instantly felt comfortable. You know, I seen groups of all ages, and I love the fact being able to have a mature conversation with somebody who has experienced life a little bit more than I have, not just based off the older, but I can tell based off the knowledge that these men were speaking upon me. So I was like, okay, I did feel a little bit of competitive up in there. I'm like, oh, y'all think y'all know
Really?
something. The young buck knows something too, you know. So,
Absolutely.
I got an idea of what it's really like to be a man, you know, on how to properly prioritize life and handle things accordingly and not get lost in the calamity that goes on around it. You know, now that doesn't mean I was able to apply all of that immediately to myself because, as we probably start off doing it wrong. And then we're told, hey, you're doing it wrong. You need to change up some things. There's nothing wrong with the momentum that you bring into the table, but there are better ways that you can go about doing it. And it's like, well, in order for me to evaluate myself, I was able to put myself in a pair of shoes that I want to be in versus the shoes I'm in now. So let's start working on that, because you asked us about our different views on different things, and it wasn't a sensitive topic for none of us to answer. Nobody got offended. So I like the fact that all of us could be transparent. And it put me in the driver's seat for my imagination to percolate a little bit on doing things just a little bit different instead of leaning on my own understanding so much. Like, let's try something different.
So let's tap into your background a little bit. Let the people know, for people who don't know you, and you're introducing yourself. What do they need to know about Justin?
Well, come from a small town, Jackson, Alabama, country boy. Been working hard all my life. Graduated, went to college. I went to A&M. Through A&M, I was in a band. I marched with Maroon and White. Played tennis team. Played on the tennis team for my
Did you
university.
know I graduated from A&M?
Yes, I
Oh,
did.
okay. I didn't know if you remember that. Okay,
Yes, I did. Yeah,
all right,
you
all right.
alumni.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
you alumni
That's
down.
good people. I
Oh,
knew you was good. I knew
yeah,
it.
yeah. So yeah, the Hill is where I was at, man. Went to school for business, and along with being at A&M, I chose to further myself in earning certifications outside the classroom. So career-wise, I'm currently a quality inspection technician. So I look at circuitry boards. Um, I'm monitoring the through-holeness of the solder. That's basically low temp welding, making sure that for these third-party government people that their stuff is working and functioning properly. So I also own a business,
Okay.
multi-purpose
What type
cleaning.
of business?
Oh, I have a cleaning business,
Okay.
carpet cleaning business, that is. Any flooring job that you need done. My name is Justin Apston, and you can call Multi-Purpose Cleaning Service LLC, and I'm here and at your duty. And let me tell you, the proof is in the pudding. I'm the best in the neighborhood and the city. Locky
Oh,
and
there
tappy.
you go.
All
There
right,
you
but
go.
yeah, so on top of that,
So
yes,
what about the? What about? Are you married? Are you single? Do you have
I am
children?
married. I have
We got to
two
talk about the
children,
queen, sir.
and I'm happily married.
Yes, sir.
Happily
All
married.
right.
Yes.
Because you're not gonna get me in trouble when you get to the house and we didn't talk about the queen. So that's we have to do that part.
Look, man, I don't like getting in trouble with the queen. I can't help it.
It
Get in
happens. It
trouble,
happens.
man.
It happens.
I'm in trouble right now.
Most of us are. Most of us are, sir.
No, but yes, happily married, man. Um, it's a picture of my wife right here on the front screen of my phone, man. That's my family right
There
here.
you go. Yes,
Um,
sir. Yes, sir.
you
Okay.
know,
All right.
siblings and everything.
All right.
She ain't no bugaboo. No, they bad.
All right.
You
That's it.
know,
That's it.
I got two lovely boys.
Okay.
One's 10, the other one is 3.
Okay.
I will not disclose their names.
No, don't do that.
You
We ain't
feel me?
doing that. No, no.
Um, so yeah.
Okay. That's our intro. So they know how we met. They know why we're here. So I've been doing this research for about 17 years. I think the day you were there, the research was out. Was it out that day? Did I show you guys that day,
Uh,
or it wasn't there when you got there?
not
So
quite.
normally, what I do is I show the presentation of the research information, so people can understand how in depth this is. This is not something that I'm just pulling off my hip or something I'm making up. It's not my opinion. This is what people like you and thousands of other brothers and sisters have taught me in 17 years.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna jump into the question. So we're talking about Gen Z and millennial. Okay. So because you were articulate, because you were authentic, because you were upfront, I said I think this brother can bring this home because I don't understand. I started off. You've been to the club, right?
Yeah.
You've been over to the club. So what I did was I invited some young brothers to the club, and I said I'm gonna give you free food and we're gonna have free drinks.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody showed up. Nobody. Zero. So then I started getting concerned because I've been doing this for 17 years. And when I put out food and drink, and then I have a forum and men can sit down and speak, open up, be transparent, and have these conversations, I never had a problem. But when I moved to a different generation, now I need to relearn. I got to go back to the table. I need some new tools. You got to teach me how do I connect with you guys. So, what generation are you in, and how can I start that journey?
I'm a millennial,
Okay,
and my generation, we still get down. You know,
explain how. So,
like when I say get down, meaning we're not how you say the typical opportunist, but when opportunity calls, we jump on it. When you hear music, we don't sit down and be on our phones. We up dancing, we jamming. What else? And for one, if you were born before the year 2000, you are not old.
okay,
Like, no, because that's the separation right there. The
and
the
is it
the,
is
the,
it
the
is it
80s babies and the
81?
90s babies.
81 is
I
the end of
mean,
millennial.
well, Ti was even born like like no, Ti is
This,
not
I'm
a
sorry,
millennial.
81 starts the millennial.
Yeah,
Yes,
no, it
sir.
does.
Yes, sir.
81
81
started the
starts the
millennium.
millennial
Wow,
to
wow,
96, and you were born in what year?
93.
Okay, there
Yeah.
we go.
Okay.
Let's be accurate.
So yeah, man. No, they calling us old. The
Yes,
the Gen
you
Zers.
are.
I'm like what?
Yeah.
Bro. My own brothers even used to tell me, my younger siblings, man, bro, you 29 right now, man. If you ain't made it by the time you 30, you might well hang it up. What? Two Chains didn't make it to you 36.
Okay, that's an individual. They're talking about a generation, so we have to be specific.
Well,
Because some like Morgan Freeman was like 47, 50 before he really made it.
you know,
He was older.
and he looked old all his life
He
to me.
did. He did.
You know, but yeah, millennial.
Yes, sir.
That's where I'm from. Just coming back to the question, I'm a
Okay.
millennial.
Does the millennials know how to date? Do they know how to date?
Yes,
What is the for your generation? What is the methodology and how does it differ from Gen X, my generation? What do you think?
conversation,
Okay.
mature, stimulating, good intellectual conversation. I mean, it ain't even gotta be the smartest conversation. You can be an individual with a really great sense of humor, and you can knock it off in the dating world. Personality, the way how you carry yourself. We were a generation brought up on hygiene. You know, like women took care of themselves. Men didn't walk out the house looking any type of way. And if we did look any type of way, it's still toe boots, dirty pants, button up shirt. Not saying, I know I probably sound pretty old saying that, but no, them just the two type of different men. I feel one that knows how to dress, and if he gonna be dirty and disgusting, he got a paycheck in his pocket. Other than that, I'm pretty sure there are more questions before I continue on.
So the millennials have some major reasons why you guys don't want to get married.
Who?
The millennials
The millennials have a
have
major
major
reason.
reasons why they don't want to get married, and you are married and you happily married. So not you, but what do you see from your generation? Because you are very observant. What do you think their major reasons are for not getting married? If you talk to some of your friends, some of your family.
People have an issue with putting their business out there too much. They don't keep their business to themselves, for one. And this is,
So you're saying they put too much out there now? That's what you're saying, or they don't?
but okay, you're saying millennials aren't advocating for marriage, right?
That yes, that's
And
what
and, and,
they're
and,
saying.
and I'm a
And why?
millennial that
Yes,
is married,
right.
and I got proof why y'all missing it, because I see it. Social media for one.
Yes, sir.
Social media for one. Everywhere you scroll up, huh, huh,
We call it cut low and cut high.
bruh.
Yes, sir. They showing too much.
It don't matter how much of a
Justin is too
faithful
much.
man you eat.
Yes, sir.
You can't help but
Yes,
scroll,
that's right.
and you can't get mad if my finger just ease a little bit. And I gotta keep on going, but because it's on there, bait, like it is bait. So social media for one, every
Huge,
and
huge,
that's the hook, line, and
huge.
sinker.
Yes, sir.
Number two,
Huge.
everybody in relationships still got single friends. When I got into it, when my friends found out I got married, I ain't have no more friends because they was all single.
Mm,
They stopped talking to me. People
mm.
stopped hanging out with. Don't nobody call my phone, text me like that. I mean, a few people do, but that's like guys with kids, like. But even the ones with kids with baby mamas, they still single. They don't hear me line either. And I was the bad influence on them, but that's another
All
story.
right. Yeah, we'll do that one next time.
You
We'll do
feel
that
me?
one next time.
But
Hmm.
yeah,
So
man.
we have social media
Social media,
and
uh, individuals
okay,
in relationships still coveting the single people.
okay. So when it comes to getting married, a lot of them, 63% of them are saying it's too expensive to be married. 63% of the millennials are saying it's too expensive.
The woman you choose is expensive.
Yes, sir.
Or maybe as a man, you're not striving enough to make the money. Maybe as a man, you're not man enough to meet the demand. Or
Okay,
maybe
so
as a woman, you're wanting too much. Maybe you're biting off more than you can chew.
mm,
Maybe you don't have the leverage to balance out your wants and needs, and the man feels there is no real ROI in you.
so now I'm pretty sure you've seen this because on the Clip It On Chronicles on the YouTube page. What is a man? What is a woman? These are titles and mentalities. They're not ages. So what you started off saying was maybe the woman doesn't prioritize what her needs and what her wants are. And if the man is not man enough to help her put that into perspective, that's where it gets too expensive.
Somebody's either more selfish than the other, or somebody ain't being selfish enough and they cheat.
Okay. All right.
But th- the relationship is not expensive. The relationship is free. Everything is free. The relationship is expensive because the perception is stuck on materialistic items that don't hold value.
There you go.
The value is in the unity.
That's right.
So that's why 63% is missing the point. It's
There you
going
go.
over their head.
I want to say this. I want to put this on the table so anybody that's watching, when we say marriage, we talking about the covenant. We talking about the love and marriage between a man and a woman.
Right.
Loving your woman or your man is when they're down. Anybody can love you when you up.
Oh yeah.
But what about when you sick? What about when you broke? What about when you downtrodden? What about when you depressed? That's when you know somebody loves you. Anybody can love you when you up. Everybody loves the elevator going up to the top floor. What about when you got to go to the basement and you got to dig through the closet and you got to grab some stuff so you can go fix some things on the first and second floor?
Right.
That's how you know what love is. So right now, because of social media, like you stated before, they're always looking at this beautiful life, taking pictures of their food, taking pictures of their car, taking pictures of their new house. Why don't they show the pink slips and the shut off notices? Why don't they talk about the student loans that's overdue when they hit that bank account and they garnish show account? Why don't they show that part? Because love, you love your wife or your husband through those things. And I think that's where millennials and Gen Zers might be missing this thing because it's in sickness and in health.
Yeah,
So, do you think that millennials understand that they're going to be bad days?
they understand
They
that,
understand it? Oh.
but they don't have to accept that.
So, what's the alternative?
The alternative is the alternative. No, there is no alternative. You almost got me with that one. There is no alternative. There is only acceptance. Because just like how you said before this podcast started, some things are just is what they are. You only have control of what you have control of. So anything outside of you literally is what it is. But, but, little segment we've been on that's another topic for another day.
Okay.
That's why you have to master self.
There you go. Period. And that's why we talked earlier before we started the podcast, and we will revisit that. We will revisit it. So now, could the millennials be so self-aware that it's self-destructive? Could millennials be so self-aware that it could be self-destructive? Take your time. Let it sink in.
Yes.
Okay.
Um, is there a why with that? Or is that
You
just a yes
however
or
you want
no?
to answer it. Go take it wherever you want to go.
uh yes. The reason why I say it's not about too much self-awareness, but there is a such thing as mental overload.
Absolutely.
You know, too
Absolutely.
much information at one
Yes,
time,
sir. Yes,
and
sir.
it can cause a person to buckle.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't matter if you you know you could be Hercules, exposed to too much at one time, you gonna buckle.
Pressure busts pipes.
You know,
Yes, sir.
that's physics.
Hmm.
So, too much self awareness, yes, can bring about destruction because you get too much, you overload, and then you self destruct. And self destruct is in a form of crashing out, losing your mind. You put yourself through a state of psychosis because you accidentally disconnected yourself from a form of reality that you thought was reality. And now that you found out that reality wasn't how you perceived it to be, now is here's the disconnect because you were taken off guard. Boom, that's the overload. Taken off guard, you wasn't ready for it. I call it your noodle popping. You just popped your noodle.
Okay.
Now, that silver thread that's supposed to keep you connected to reality, you having a hard time getting back to it because all the truth that you know that you wasn't ready to be brought to your attention, curiosity eventually killed the cat.
Why do you think when I invited the brothers to the club that they didn't show up? Why didn't anybody show up when they had free food, conversation? I sent them the information. They saw the podcast. They knew we were gonna have food and drinks. Why didn't anybody show up? What do you think is going on?
We got different thinkers in the world now, man. And when I say different thinkers, there's some people out here that are able to think without a brain because
Come on, wait, stop. That. Elaborate. I like that. Elaborate on that. What does that mean?
meaning like person who's not fully thinking it through, but already have a pre-based assumption that they already have something better to do when they don't.
We call let that land. So we're gonna let a little silence just sit on that those were bars. Okay. So now I love that. That's why you here because I can't speak for you guys, but that's what I'm seeing. So you can have a predetermined ideology on a topic, a subject, a people, or a place, and then that's not the reality of the situation. But you predetermine that's what it is. Is that what you just said?
Hmm.
In general, kind of. So, okay.
In general,
So that
it's always some made-up scenario that they
mm,
have something better to do when they really don't.
mm, the illusion of options.
The illusion of options.
Hmm. Okay. We go. This. We revisited this. So, do you think that millennials could be dating not to lose, and that keeps them from winning? Do you think that could be a problem in dating for millennials?
Yes.
Okay. What do you hear when you hear me say that?
When I hear you say that, I'm hearing lack of confidence.
Okay. 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 And I'm not saying that, but elaborate. Go ahead. I'm
When
not
I
saying.
say lack of confidence, and I'm doing this because I wouldn't have the wife I got if I wasn't confident.
So, okay. Do you think that you are below average, average, or above average?
Above
Okay. So I'll tell you this. I'm saying it. You wouldn't be sitting here if you wasn't above average. I'm saying that. I'm qualifying that what you said, so it doesn't matter. I'm telling the people they could think you're not. I can guarantee and prove that you are. So that's why we're having the conversation. But I had to get on here and try to get through this thing because it was just so it hit me so hard to not be able to. So that see that's the difference in y'all and us. See, we weren't able to do that, and that's cool because we couldn't brush it off like that. And that's the difference. When a man is doing that in our day, he was bragging. That was egotistical. There's nothing wrong with what you just did. I'm telling you what they would have told me. That's what they would have said. And I don't think no one's wrong with what you just did. So when I say next generation conversations, when I had my radio show with my daughter, the reason I did the radio show because you could do the very same thing. Now it means something totally different.
y'all share this live now.
Okay,
I just seen 3 people. Now it's back to 2.
that's okay. That's
Share the
that,
live.
that's all right. It's all right. It's okay. It's all right. So the reason it's called next generation conversations is because the generations it's a disconnect. Now with me and you, it's like 3 generations where it should only be one, but because of the internet, like you stated before, because of social media, like you stated before, because of the input, too much input is overload, like you stated before. Now, how do we deal with a generation that is the first generation to be overloaded and overstimulated mentally? How do we deal with that? Because it's never been seen before.
Can't teach an old dog new tricks, unfortunately.
Mm. So based off the question, elaborate on that because I hear you elaborate on that because I like that.
The generation before my generation
X me. Okay,
don't want to change.
exactly. I agree. I, I agree. I agree. So give me some negatives from my generation that impacts you guys in a major way. What have we done that impacted you guys in a negative major way? What should we have done different?
more honest about your emotions and what you were going through mentally.
Okay.
Um,
Yes, sir. Correct.
being better representations as leaders instead of individuals who got comfortable after life hit them in so many ways that they couldn't take. Also symbolizing a form of giving up.
Okay. Definitely received that. There's everything you just said is 1,000% accurate. Understand that I was your age sitting in your seat, and I didn't know I was going to be, 55, 60 years old. So I only knew I was 32, like you were. Somebody said something.
Somebody said, repeat that. Great. I'm waiting for you to start. Oh, okay.
Or do we know what we need to repeat?
What do we need to repeat?
There you go. Let them type that back into the chat.
Um,
No,
let's
no,
see.
you okay? You all right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. What do we need to
There you
repeat?
go. So yeah. So you know me. I'm gonna receive it because I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to progress. I'm not trying to stay here. The reason it's called Next Generation Conversations because the generations need to progress. But when I was your age, I didn't know that I was going to be shut down, not showing my emotions. Okay, what did they say something?
Oh, somebody said great questions.
Okay, so I didn't know that when I was your age that I
Mhm.
was going to be my age, and then you were going to sit here and tell me what you're telling me because I could have prepared for that had I known that was something I needed to do. So because our parents, the boomers, they were just disconnected. Their parents raised them with no emotions. Emotions wasn't even in the cards. They didn't sit up and have these conversations with us. That don't happen with you. They just said, shut up, do what I told you because I said so. And that was it. So respect to what you're saying. When you say we should have done better with our emotions, with our communication, and with the way we open it up to you. But the only thing I could take to have you take with you is we didn't know we needed to do that. We thought the world was going to stay the way that it was. So you guys have opened up a whole new door, turned a whole new leaf on the world as far as emotions and communication. Because a man couldn't be emotional.
Mhm.
So okay, but that's the bars. That's I like that. How you put that? I like it. When do you think that the dating apps were conceived, not started? When do you think the dating apps were conceived?
The dating apps was conceived.
And just guess, because that's loaded. That was a loaded question.
Oh no,
Okay.
because I got the answer.
Okay.
The day the dating apps were conceived is when an individual who either lacked confidence, the funds, something was lacking. Not saying like mentally, but I'm saying there was something. Well, the confidence is mental. You were lacking that when you felt that you couldn't appeal to the women in your area.
All right. So let's go with
So
dates. Let's try a date because that's how. That's a how question. It was conceived,
mhm,
and you are correct. About what year do you think it was conceived? Not the year it started. What year do you think dating apps were conceived?
the same time when social media was
What about what year?
early 2000s.
In 1965, the dating apps from the baby boomers was conceived. The apps went into play and they went on the internet around 1994, 1995.
Yeah,
So what I'm saying to you is, if somebody saying something,
we didn't have the examples back then. Uh, Greta Joyner,
okay,
4366,
okay,
and Heavenly Sunshine 6572.
mm-hmm.
As a culture, it is difficult to teach something when you weren't taught. And then Miss Greta Joyner 4366 again. She said what year? So but Heavenly Sunshine said as a culture it is difficult to teach something when you weren't taught. That is true.
So, but again, so here's your impasse. Your sons are going to criticize you for something you didn't do, but you don't know you need to do it because their generation is going to have a different set of criteria, situation, and circumstances that you going to have to help them through. But you can't correct something you don't know exists. So when I was coming up with my daughter, she's a little older than you, that's when the internet started. So we didn't know that we needed to be emotionally available. We didn't know we needed to communicate more. I did in my house. But my generation, we didn't understand that. That just not, it's not what it was. So okay. So now we're gonna do this again. So tell the people what might be convenient for you so we can do this again. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna touch bases and we're gonna start this back up and we're gonna continue the conversation. So let them know when you might be able, after you check with the queen, when you might be able to come back and do this again.
Well, I had fun, y'all. Again, my name is Justin. I would love to come back again soon.
Okay, then. Okay. All right. So you don't have to like it, believe it, or understand it. Sometimes you just have to respect it. This is the Clipper Dome Chronicles. Thank you. All right. All right. Cool.